Trayvon Bromell and Zharnel Hughes. So in Birmingham, Trayvon Bromell and Zharnel Hughes both false started, not in the same heat or not back to back, but Trayvon Bromell, they line up in the final, or they line up for the race. Trayvon Bromell false starts, and it's a clear false start. He didn't mean it. He doesn't have a history of false starting, so I think it was, just a bad thing. He even mentions after the race, rookie mistake, it's something I didn't want to do. Sorry to all my fans that, came in here and wanted to watch me compete and, saw me make this one mistake. And like you said, Trayvon Bromell, he doesn't have a history of this. He doesn't do it very often. I was searching through many of his professional races, couldn't find many times that he was false starting. Zharnel Hughes, on the other hand, he has a history of this. He false started last week at the Puerto Rico Athletics Classic, false started this week, and he false started in the Olympics as well as another time last year as well. So in his last 14 100-meter races, he has false started in 4 of them. That's 28.5%. And so these two, while the tape shows that they're false starts, I think they're for very different reasons. Trayvon Bromell, his false start seemed like it was more of excitement and more of determination, and the fact that he had all of this, cooped up energy. I talked about it in Ray's takes.
This guy nervous. That's why I'm saying it wasn't the nerves. I think it's the excitement. And they're two, while they're two similar feelings, they're very different in intent. Nervous is, man, I don't want to do this. Nervous, here, this is it. Trayvon Bromell was excited. Zharnel Hughes was nervous.
Yes.
So
yes. Thank you. Thank you. Which is the same thing happened in Puerto Rico. That's nervous. That's nervous because I know who's beside me. And I can't keep up. That's a nervous jump. You are correct.
If you watch that, where this false start was very different than Zharnel Hughes' false start. With him, it seemed a lot like, I know that I want to show the world I can run internationally, and I want to do very well here. I have all of this emotion and excitement, and I can't wait to show you what I can do. And he was just too locked in and too in the moment, and that ended up getting back to him. And so I think the fact that he did false start is almost a good thing here, where, okay, now he goes back in his head, all right, I gotta calm down. I can't be, having all this adrenaline pumping and going crazy, because, that can get you to be antsy and you might do something that's not, in your character. And so I'm not worried about him. I think this is actually gonna be something like, all right, good, let me take that away with me. Let me put that in my mind. All right, I'm not going to do that again. I think that was out of excitement and anticipation. Zharnel Hughes, I think I might have been a little more on the nerve side. Zharnel Hughes has a history of this. Like we mentioned, he's false started 28.5, nearly 30% of his 100-meter races, and over 20% of all of his races. So he's had some issues with this, especially being an elite level athlete. It's something you really don't want to see. And once again, I'm not in his shoes. I don't know anything. I don't have any insider information. I don't know what's going on in his head, in his personal life, or anything like that. But what I can go off of is my personal experience with things like this. As I've mentioned, I probably mentioned a million times on this show, so if you're hearing it for the 1,000,001th time, sorry, but I do want to bring it up that I've had issues with competing at larger meets, or just competing at meets when you might have expectations, and in my case, no heighting, since I was a pole vaulter, and it seems like he may have a similar thing where it comes with false starting when it comes to track meets and the 100. It's there might be some nerves there. There's something, the race anxiety might be getting to you. And, something that I did when I was going through that was seeing a sports psychologist and being able to, discuss what type of things you're feeling before your competition, before your race, and seeing what those issues might be and how it can flesh out. And there's no shame in that. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of track and field athletes around the world, and almost all of them, I would say all of them. There are hundreds of thousands of track and field athletes in this world, and all of them get those pre-race jitters before they're competing. And it just varies between on what kind of things they are. It could be excitement. I can't wait to get to compete. It could be, oh no, this is a big time race and I don't want to mess up. And so there's a wide variety of what it is. And once you do it once, it kind of like is a slippery slope. And so now that one time can turn into two, and that two can turn into three. And so it can easily snowball and just compound to become a really huge problem. And if you don't nip it in the butt early, it's going to be a constant issue for you. And that's something that I had to deal with. I started no-hiding a lot, especially at big competitions. And in my season, I believe it was my sophomore year, I didn't kind of nip that in the bud. I didn't, meet a sports psychologist yet. I just thought I could figure it out myself. And I ended up no-hiding about half of my competitions that year. And then we, got us some help, figured out what was going on, and then, it was a lot better in the following seasons. And so I would kind of, recommend a similar thing for him. Like, look, man, first issue is you got to recognize you got an issue, and you have an issue. It's clear. I had an issue. I recognized it. And then, meeting someone, finding how you can get help, and then being able to compete at the highest level. Cause you got talent, kid. You're very, very talented. You ran very fast, but you also have this issue, which is probably a mental block that's just not allowing you to compete at your highest and is giving you some of these nerves. So I would recommend that he meets with some extra person. If he's already meeting with someone, meet with someone new, because it's not working right now, man. And I'd like to see him be able to compete at a high level. And we saw Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson called you out and said, hey, this dude's been false starting all the time. Every time I see you compete, you got the best in the sport calling you out on your abilities to not stay in the blocks. That's a problem. So let's get it figured out, because I want to see you, being able to compete at a high level here. I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. As track athletes, we're going to be running tons of miles every week and can be really sweaty and gross after a hard day of practice, but those days are behind us. Manscaped just sent me their brand new performance package, which comes with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Look, I've tried a lot of razors in my day, but the Lawnmower 4.0 is just different. Its ceramic blade helps reduce grooming accidents, LED light allows you to shave anytime, anywhere, and since it's waterproof, you can even take it in the shower if you want. When shopping with Manscaped, use code TWN at checkout to get 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping worldwide. Show up to your next meet looking good. If you want to be the best, you gotta look the best. Link is in the description.